breaking and entering, theft, assault, kidnapping, cult leadership, grooming minors.
Stop right there. I'm in.
"2023 is already shaping up to be an interesting year for both the MCU and the DCEU, with one openly embracing and doubling down on their wokeism.
Alright, move on! Nothing to see here! Please disperse! Nothing to see here, please!
Whilst the other openly surgically removes every trace of the parasitic entity found in any of their current or future projects.
Who's there?
Now, I've long said the MCU died or ended at the end of Endgame. The party was over, time for the lights to come on and everyone to go home. Turned out Kevin Feige was that one guy you always find in a corner of the room, dancing on his own, bottle of beer in his hand, spilling all over the floor, muttering to himself incomprehensibly, trying desperately to keep that party going. Now, the clever thing would be to quit while he was ahead, leave on a high, hand the reins over to somebody else to continue. Fresh eyes, fresh ideas. But no. Now, a lot of people have come out with, "Oh, what's happened to Feige? He's gone woke. They've got to him.
They've got to our Kev."
Truth is, he was always woke.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
You check out some of his old interviews. All the signs were there, along with that receding hairline. This guy was playing the long game, waiting for all eyes to be on him before he reveals his true hand. Quite a clever ploy. That plan, it seems, was to transition all things, plot lines, characters, into what we call the MCU. Typical of these modern times we live in. Problem is, it's like McDonald's at the height of their popularity suddenly turn around and declaring to the world that they're gonna go 100% vegan. Yeah, that wouldn't go down too well. Sure, whilst there's a load of Marvel stands out there that pretty much consume anything with that branded logo slapped on it, the general public is a different matter entirely, becoming increasingly aware of the agenda being pushed at them from all corners of the earth, politically, socially, entertainment industry, and it's everywhere. More and more people are waking up to it every day. Whilst a lot of them are content with the fact that they're powerless to directly influence what the government is currently doing or not. Comes to entertainment, well, we have all the power. There we get to vote with our wallet. We get to see the effects of that happen in real time. As do the corporations like Amazon, Netflix, Disney. Each have suffered massively throughout this year. Whilst the end is nowhere in sight for these guys, the message from the customers has been loud and clear.
Gently extend your arm. Extend your middle finger. Very good.
In fact, 2022 saw a lot of people making their feelings known to Hollywood. Now, some got that message loud and clear, whilst others, not so much, choosing to perpetually live in a state of only be described as denial.
Yesterday, denial. Today, denial. 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 Denial.
See, the problem is, the woke movement is strictly non-profit. By its very definition, it wasn't being bankrolled by a bunch of rich, sinister types. It would have died off a long time ago. It's not done for profit, it's done for control. Therefore, its success cannot be monetarily measured, which is why these guys don't care whether they make or lose money. Their measure of success is control. How many minds they control, how many young minds they can influence.
Any Republicans? Too reformed. Excellent.
That's their measure of success. That's why they lost their mind when Twitter got taken out of their hands. Now, a lot of people got this wrong. I mean, a lot of people. They always ask the question, why do these companies bend the knee to Twitter? This 3% practically controlling the other 97%. Well, the truth is, they never bent their knee to Twitter. They were lifting Twitter up. They've already bought into this new world idea we're all constantly hearing about. These companies wanted to raise Twitter's importance in the world, socially influence your life.
Not a great plan.
Especially when this dude comes along at the 11th hour and pulls off a
Coup de grace.
Yeah, that idea is pretty much dead now. Can we say we're truly seeing change happen, even after 2022's many woke disasters? Oh, yes and no. Disney to me is as good as dead. Star Wars, finished. MCU, life support. Animation, dead. Indiana Jones, Weekend at Bernie's. The parks, soon to be dethroned. Stock value plummeting by the day. Netflix seemed to be perpetually tone deaf. That's what any of their audience want. I don't know what it's going to take to help these guys to turn it around. Amazon seemed to be more hit and miss. If they're in control, it's a miss. If they're not in control, pretty much guaranteed a hit. Now Warner Brothers, they've got a real shot of pulling this off. They could get out of their own way, that is. Quit the dumb tweets, announcements and interactions and just produce the plan when you're ready to produce the plan already. But no, you get rid of the one casting choice you were universally praised in making. So let me get the timeline right. You have the guy spearhead a movie featuring the worst rendition of the character I've seen yet, pairing him up with a miscast love interest. Admirably, he does what he can with whilst the movies don't set the box office alight. He comes out universally loved. Next, slap an awful looking CGI top lip on him in one movie, replace him completely with a body double in the next, and then fire him on his birthday. On the dude's birthday. Via social media, absolutely humiliating the guy by announcing to the world that you can replace with a black version.
May as well call him Dark Kent.
Flash forward to present day. Post arrival of a one David Zaslav. You're tinkering away at the movie Black Adam, trying to remove as many woke elements as you can as the release date closes in. Someone gets the bright idea of slapping Cavill's Superman at the end of the movie just to increase those viewing figures. So you verbalize a deal and leak everything out to the general public. Reaction overwhelming, you give Cavill the official nod to make his announcement.
I am back as Superman.
But the movie still underperforms, mainly because it wasn't that good. Yet somehow he gets some of the blame for his failure not to make more money. 2 little seconds worth of screen time. So then you're forced to make another announcement. Oh man, come on. What exactly was the plan here? People who had no intention of watching the movie suddenly run out and buy a ticket just to catch a glimpse of Cavill in the last couple of seconds of the movie, when by that time it was already all over the internet?
Nigga, please.
Meanwhile, this freakadeek is still running around rampant. And apparently we'll be getting a Super Bowl trailer. How many laws has he broken now?
Should I keep going all day? I'm out.
I mean, this guy what? Choke slammed one girl to the floor like he was the Undertaker.
Whoa, bro.
Threw a chair at another girl in Hawaii, a karaoke bar, and got arrested.
I'm not transgender, non-binary. I don't want to be searched by a man.
Broke into a couple's house and threatened them while stealing their identity.
Prisoner. Sounds like it would be a little less work.
Indulged in some underage grooming activities.
You sick son of a bitch!
Further linking him to reports of him starting up his own cult. Victims, including a mother and her 3 children, were all missing for a period of time. This is just the stuff that's come out. This guy is sick, twisted, and the last person you want leading the superhero franchise. She's absolutely disgusting to hear rumors that post-Flashpoint, Warner Brothers are going to be keeping him around. They fired Henry Cavill. Why? It's not like he's some big box office draw. He's not even that great an actor. And you got the cheek to say us fans are toxic because we're not happy because we're holding your punk studio ass accountable. We don't realize is that we're actually doing you a favor. It's the studio behind the Sonic movie. I mean, look, success in these days isn't rocket science, alright? Let's face it. People these days are just desperate for entertainment that isn't infected by this woke virus.
The worm that has been eating at the core of our great society.
In fact, the more old school your product, the more you're pretty much guaranteed success. I mean, you only have to glance back over last year's successes and failures for that to be blatantly obvious. For every utter embarrassment like Lightyear and Strange World, there's a Minions success just around the corner. For mega flops like Rings of Power,
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
Wheels of Time, even the most recent Witcher Bloodline. There's massive successes like House of the Dragon, spits in the face of their pitiful excuses. And on the comic scene, you've got Marvel and DC continuing to churn out the kind of material that not even fit for using as toilet paper. To be brutally honest, they're not even paying those artists to enable them to feed their families.
Please, sir. I want some more.
While independent creators like Young Ripper explode onto the scene and remind them how it used to be done.
I'm all about giving the customers what they want, no matter where they're at on the political spectrum. I ain't no Kelly Sue DeConnick, right? If you don't like my politics, you can still buy my books. Hell, I prefer it.
And in video games, sales from original IPs like Elden Ring lay waste to established franchises like Saints Row.
You look like you could use a mimosa.
Thanks, Eli.
I can tell you love it.
Okay. I don't have to love it, I have to pay my student loans.
And as for Hollywood, cramming a movie chock-a-block full of admittedly incredible talent won't exactly guarantee you success this day and age. In fact, it's more likely to tank your movie than anything else. Twice in this year alone, mainly because the audience have built up a disdain for the people involved. Why? Because over recent years, the people involved have made their political leaning increasingly more apparent, along with their growing disdain for people who vote the other way. Meanwhile, actors like Matt Smith, Alan Richardson, Chris Pratt, who've been notably less vocal on such topics, silently make big splashes on their respective TV projects, proving you can still find success if you're an entertainer who sets out to, entertain.
I knew it.
Shut up!
Not forgetting the granddaddy of them all, practically annihilated the box office this year, completely out of the blue. Tom Cruise with Top Gun Maverick, talking about 1.4 billion with a B against a budget of only 170 million. Wow. Let's face it, who would you rather back with your hard-earned cash? The likes of these guys who go out of their way to thank you for going out of your way to watch and support their projects, making them huge successes? Or this guy who's waiting for you to die off? Apparently.
Something about representation or diversity or whatever you
sure.
There's always pushback. How would you counter that, I suppose?
Well, the real truth is those people are idiots. I think throughout history you can see every time there's been social advancement as we wake up. The American story, the human story, is one of constant social awakening and growth.
Refurbish your idea of tradition. Understand that it's to infinity and beyond. It's time to move forward. It's time to accept and look and enjoy all the faces that have always been there.
There's always going to be people who are afraid and unaware.
Bullshit.
And trying to hold on to what was before. But those people die off like dinosaurs.
A few moments later.
Those people die off like dinosaurs.
These guys were world-class turds, but they got what they deserved.
Which is kind of a shame because Captain America was my favourite Avenger. He was old school like me.
I'd sit this one out, Cap.
I don't see how I can.
These guys come from legend. They're basically gods.
There's only one God, man. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
How do you go from that to... That's the problem. You know what? Captain America is a character larger than life. Chris Evans is just a jobbing actor who thinks he's larger than life.
What? Sorry. Prince Charming, that was really gay. I'm sorry.
Back in the days, there was that mystique around the actors and actresses of Hollywood. Who were they really? What kind of lives do they really live? What do they get up to behind closed doors? As I said, over the last couple of years, that mystique has kind of been lifted. Some of these guys are real scumbags, worse than any fictional character you could ever create. And others are just douchebags. Their heads so far up their own ass they couldn't tell you what time of day it was. Imagine the level of superiority someone must have to sit there and call the very people who put you in your multi-million-dollar home, gave you a multi-million career, fed your family, idiots.
I would rather you just said thank you and went on your way.
Imagine wishing those very same people were dead. That's scummy, man. That's real. That's low. But at the end of the day, what can we expect, really? They're just regular people. However, if I hire a plumber to come around and fix a leak, I expect him to just come round and fix the leak. It's his job I'm paying him to do. Check his social background to see who he voted for, views on climate change, or whether he thinks this is creepy or not.
Am I overstepped my bounds? Just tell me. Come on.
Look, anything like that. Likewise, I don't expect him to turn up to my doorstep and tell me how to live my life, start judging me what he thinks I should or shouldn't be doing. Just do the job you should be doing and shut up! In fact, that goes for the vast majority of actors, producers and directors throughout this year. Each one telling me a reason why I should be backing them, should be watching their project, regardless of my own personal feelings on it. Like that chump who was promoting that Bros movie. Apparently I need to support this. You've got more chance catching him subscribing to Geeks and Gamers.
Billy Eichner is not just a clown.
Billy Eichner is the whole damn circus at this point in time, and the internet is roasting him beyond belief.
I do love how a lot of these people are being called out over their BS. That's one thing I loved about 2022. You could call it the year of exposure. A lot of these cats were exposed, who they really are, what they've really been doing. Thought this guy was a super cool cat, always in control, the walking epitome of positivity.
Oh, wow!
Exposed.
He can't win!
How about 6 years of fabricated lies and projection, and making a mockery of real victims while doing it?
My dog stepped on a bee.
Yep.
Everyone was just having a good time.
Meanwhile, over on the red carpet,
If you don't come see it, then you're sending a message that black women cannot lead the box office globally. That you are supporting that narrative.
Two things. One.
this movie opened back in March 2019. It was a massive hit. Didn't need even a fraction of those scare tactics to do it.
If y'all want to get crazy, we can get crazy.
2. You want to talk narratives? How about the narrative that the people you're depicting as heroes actually historically and factually sold other black people as slaves to other nations? How about that, Viola? Maybe time for that long overdue apology to Lupita for trying to rope her into this vile project in the first place. Ever wonder about how much effort and how serious Disney and Marvel treat the special effects in their movies and TV shows these days?
Okay. Does that look real?
In that particular shot, no, actually. It doesn't really, right? When you look close.
You need to be more blue.
Well,
you know, but does he look real?
No, none of us.
Does she look like...
Something looks very off about this. But no, he changes hues, don't you think?
Yeah.
Put in the light. Sometimes he's blue, sometimes he's a little grayish.
The atmosphere there has a darkness like no other.
Well, wonder no more. Remember when these guys with virtually no credits to their names said they were huge Tolkien fans and they were gonna... Remember when these patently evil guys with virtually no credits to their names said they were huge Tolkien fans and they were gonna do everything by the book, for the book, in the book?
And it's Tolkien's amazing untold story that is...
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
And it's Tolkien's amazing untold story that
how is it you're gonna tell a story from Tolkien that he never told?
That is so iconic that could really...
What is that, Elvish?
Sounds more like gibberish.
And Amazon were wonderfully crazy enough to say,
do it.
Are the guys like No BS? They have let us make the show we want to make.
What was the show they wanted to make? Well, it was one that bore very little resemblance to either the books, movies, even that animation from back a day. It was truly a story that Tolkien never told, nor would he have ever. Then there were the flat-out lies. First female dwarf.
What did we learn about woman dwarves that we didn't know through your portrayal?
Well, we learned that they exist. Thank you so much, Angelique, for noticing and acknowledging the fact that this is the first time that we see a woman.
You're a liar. You're a liar!
And prosperous.
First elf of colour ever on screen.
Oh, you're a liar. You're just a liar. You always were.
Hey.
Then hilariously there were those super fans.
There's something very cool with prequels in the way that they can make you love the things you already love even more. So the fact that we're going to be seeing things that are potentially going to make us love the Hobbit films and the Lord of the Rings films and potentially the books as well.
That's right. The Rings of Power might be so good, it may potentially cause you to go back and fall in love with the original books. Here's hoping.
Much later.
Which is better, House of the Dragon or Rings of Power? Well, I haven't watched Rings of Power yet because I'm going to binge it. I don't want to watch them both at the same time. And House of the Dragon started first, so I was already taken, so I've got to wait. So I don't know. But so far, House of the Dragon's really good, so Rings of Power's got to do big things if it's going to be better than that one.
What have I done?
More exposure via Netflix. Writer Bo DiMaio. Sorry if I butchered your name, bro. Saying that the writers on the Witcher series actively mocked the source material. How much he disapproved of it, as in them mocking the source material, confirming to many that this was the reason Henry left the project, inspiring a petition to fire the writers. Good riddance, I say. Apparently there's also a petition to replace the show's Henry Cavill replacement Liam Hemsworth with Mads Mikkelsen, which I think's a pretty good idea actually. They obviously denied these allegations, but well, proof was in the pudding when the prequel came out and got destroyed by both critics and fans alike. Strange only the fans were called out on that one though. Very strange. Now, it's not really a show for me, especially their version of it, nor the games for that matter, but seeing how Henry wielded that sword like a boss made me salivate at the thought of him taking on the Highlander role.
There can be only one Henry Cavill.
When it eventually happened. Can't wait.
Meanwhile,
Netflix continues its downward spiral. And you could have done something about it.
We could have been a good couple. We could have had something special. But you one crazy ass.
Meanwhile, back at the House of Mouse, an eye-opening video was leaked.
Was that eye gouging?
Last summer, we removed all of the gendered greetings in relationship to our live spiels. So we no longer say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We've provided training for all of our cast members in relationship to that. So now they know it's hello everyone or hello friends.
Like I'd heard things like, oh, you know, they won't let you show this at a Disney show. And I'm like, okay. So I was a little like sus when I started. But then my experience was bafflingly the opposite of what I had heard. On my little pocket of like, you know, Proud Family Disney TVA, the showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and like our leadership over there has been so welcoming to like my like not at all secret gay agenda. And so like I feel like I felt like it was, I mean like maybe it was that way in the past, but I guess like something must have happened in the last like they are turning it around. They're going hard.
Remember the BLM movement? May of 2020, when every high school girl in America was absolutely required to put a black square on her Instagram page. Remember that? BLM, everyone's for BLM. Mitt Romney marched with BLM. What was that? Well, it was a scam. Actually, it turns out it was a scam. And it really hurt the country.
They collected $80 million. Where is that money?
It's not here. Everything looks worse than it was.
And then there were the Twitter files revealing more corruption than I have time to go through in this video. Suffice to say, it's all over YouTube. But where you won't find it is on the mainstream media outlet. In fact, they haven't covered it at all. They're still trying to defame the guy. Probably because they're complicit with half the stuff he's exposing. Well, that's me done. It's been a fun year, you know.
Wishing you all a happy new year.
Look out for my top 10 woke disasters, at least my favourite ones. That video coming soon. Along with a video of how I would have mapped out the DCE storylines and, you know, interconnectivity and all that stuff. All the great stuff coming in 2023. Leave your comment down below. Let me know what your highlights of the year were. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Joker out.